is now March, which is Women's History Month. It is only right that I talk about some women writers that I absolutely love. When I think about picking up a book that I just know is gonna hit off rip, these are the women that come to mind. I pick it up and I'm just like, take me wherever you're gonna take me. But what I will say is these are my favorites that I could think of right now. I know by the time this video goes up, I'm gonna think of somebody and be like, why you forgot that person? That could just mean that maybe I just haven't read this person in a long while. You know, the memory is not as good as it used to be. You know, I'm getting up in age. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so obviously there are many women authors that I absolutely love, but I wanted to set some parameters in place so that this video wasn't ridiculously long. I needed to have read at least 4 books by this author, okay, for them to be considered, you know, a favorite of mine. Usually I know if they're gonna be a favorite by like the 3rd or the 4th book, usually by like the 3rd, you know. So but there are many authors that they're fairly new and I just haven't read enough from them to be able to put them in that favorite category. So these are the ones where the catalog is crazy, the catalog is long, and I really hope that y'all check out some of these authors for yourself and hopefully they end up on your favorite author list. So the first author we just gotta get out the way, which is the Queen, Toni Morrison. I love Toni Morrison. I need to read some more of Toni because there's enough material here for you to read a Toni Morrison book every month if you so choose. I have read, to date, I have read 4 Toni Morrison books. I have read Beloved. I have read Sula, Recitatif, and God Help the Child. And the reason why I love reading Toni Morrison, you know, I mean, obviously the list is so long for why someone would love Toni Morrison. But for me, when you pick up a Toni Morrison book, you can't just barrel through it. You cannot just be reading it and then reading 5 other things and think you about to just hop back into it. That is not the way her work works. Okay? You need to be fully invested in reading this book. You might want to be annotating. You have to stop sometimes to reflect on the greatness that you've just read. I just feel like when it comes to Black women writing, Toni Morrison just always has to be part of the conversation because she's absolutely the queen. This year, I'm definitely looking at The Bluest Eye, Tar Baby, and Song of Solomon specifically. Those 3 are on my list to definitely pick up. Okay, so next we are going to go with an author that is near and dear to my heart, and the reason why is because this author specifically got me back into reading, and I will never forget her work. It means everything to me, and that is going to be Bernice L. Mcfadden. I was 20 years old, and I just remember just feeling so like just out of sorts, you know. It's a weird age because you're not, it's like you're kind of an adult, but you're not really an adult. It's like you still kind of a teenager in your mind, but on paper supposedly you're supposed to be an adult. it's a very weird stage of life. And you can't even drink. You can't even really like turn up the way you want to. But that's another story. I don't know. One day I just decided to just go to the library. I was on my lunch break and I just went to the library. I was like, this is a place that has always brought me joy when I was young. It's always calmed me and it's always just uplifted my spirits. And I remember going into the it's a very small branch that was in Manhattan that was near the job that I was working at, and I went there and I just browsed. And as I was browsing, I came across Sugar by Bernice Mcfadden. There is this black woman on the front of the cover. It's a very, you could tell that it's historical fiction because of the way the cover looks, but I didn't care about that. I wasn't even a big historical fiction girl at the time, but I was just more so thinking, there's a black person on this cover. I would like to have it. And I checked that book out, and when I tell you, I did not look back. I have been reading consistently ever since then. I was reading that book and I was just thinking, wow, why did I ever stop doing this thing that I absolutely love that has always brought me peace, which is reading, right? And for me, that book is everything to me. You know, whenever someone asks me, usually like, oh, what's your favorite book? What's your favorite book? First of all, I hate that question. Don't ask me. But typically, if I'm forced to give an answer, I usually say that book. And that is because that book meant so much to me. It's a great book, of course. It's definitely a great book. I ain't gonna tell you about no trash now. But it is a great book, and it's also very personal to me because of where I was in life and what that book meant to me in jump-starting my reading, if that makes sense. So, I have to have her on here. After that, I completely barreled through her catalog. I then read the sequel to Sugar, which is This Bitter Earth, and then everything else. The Warmest December, Camilla's Roses, Nowhere is a Place, Love and Donovan, Gathering of Waters, Keeper of Keys. Camilla's Roses is going to be getting a re-release this year, which I'm very excited for because the cover is very cute. They have been slowly re-releasing Bernice L. Mcfadden's books over the last couple years. I just don't know why they just won't re-release them all. Just do all of her books over again with new covers because she deserves them. Those books are amazing. I've never heard somebody read a Bernice L. Mcfadden book and say this wasn't good. I felt nothing. You cannot read one of her books without feeling anything, and y'all know that when it comes to me, feelings about a book has so much to do with how it made me feel. Did it make me feel anything? If I feel angry, okay, that's a feeling, you know. And I feel like when I read Bernice L. Mcfadden books, I go through so many emotions with the characters. I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm angry, I'm feeling sad. To be able to write in a way that evokes all of these emotions out of your readers is a skill, okay? A complete skill. If y'all remember last year, I finally decided to pick up, which I thought it was one of the last two books of Bernice L. Mcfadden's, but actually, come to find out, it was the last fiction book of Bernice L. Mcfadden's that I had not read. I had been saving these last two books because I didn't know when she was coming out with anything else, and I ended up finally picking up the book of Harlan because her memoir, Firstborn Girls, was announced. Come to find out, when I was doing research for this video, I realized that I thought that I also had praise songs for the butterflies to read by her, but I actually read a book years ago by her called My Name is Butterfly, and that is the same book as Praise Song for the Butterflies. So imagine how sad I was when I realized I have legit read every single fiction Bernice Mcfadden book. So sad. But that also gives me the opportunity to reread her. And I would love to do that this year. In fact, I'm going to do that this year. I'm going to be sprinkling her books in my reading throughout the year, because I just miss her writing so much. And especially when I read the Book of Harlan last year, I was just thinking, oh my God, man, I miss her. I was just thinking, don't nobody do it like Bernice. They just don't. You know, it's some authors that are very close, similar, but they don't do it like her. You know, it's just different. She just different. Oh, and I also read Glorious, if I didn't mention that as well when I was going through the list. But yeah, that's all of them. Okay, and next is going to be a fairly new favorite, and that's going to be Takerra Allen. She was promoting her new book that was called Needful Noor, and I was just thinking, wow, this book is 900 and something pages? That is crazy. It more so intrigued me because I was just thinking, wow, this woman got some balls. Like for real, she had some about her to come out with this 900 and something page book, and it's contemporary, like regular fiction, you know. And I was like, I don't know why, but I want to read it. I had heard of Takerra Allen before, but I had heard of I think I had came across Thicker Than Water once, many years and years ago. I think this is during her early writing days. I came across it, but I never read it. And I was like, oh, this is the same woman. Okay, I want to try this Needful Noor, because y'all know I love big books. And I was like, I'm going to read this big book, and it's going to tell me everything I need to know about this author. And when I tell you, she did not disappoint. Okay, so let me tell you the other books of hers that I've read. Needful Noor, Parachutes, book 1. I've also read Devout, book 1. I've also read The Lonely Pole 1 and 2. And my absolute favorite Takerra Allen book is Last Stop from Innocence. I absolutely love this book so much. I love books that are set in the 90s, and I feel like she just killed it. She absolutely killed it. And fun fact that some people may not know is that she's actually Tupac's half sister, which is super dope. Super dope. One of the things that I love about Takerra Allen's writing is that, for one, a lot of her books are all different. They're all different. I've not read a book from her yet where I'm like, this sounds like the other 3 or something like that. What I will say is that there's always some kind of romance at the core of her books. However, the people that are involved in this romance, we're going to have some thoughts about them. She never writes characters where it's super clear cut on this person is the villain and this person is the victim. You know? I love that, because a lot of times I'll be reading one of her characters, and I'll be thinking, oh, I really love this guy. I like him a lot. Like, he's this, he's that. But then he always turns out to be fairly, morally gray. And I think that that's just her showing us the humanity in these characters. It just makes them more real for us, because nobody in life is perfect. Everyone is going to do something that is a little questionable at times. You know, it's like, you did that? Oh, wow. Okay. And I love that, you know, because it always creates this kind of discourse amongst a lot of other readers, where it's like, oh, I hate this character because he did X, Y, and Z, and then you have someone else saying, yeah, but he apologized, and then, but he did this, and you know, there's always some kind of redeeming quality for a lot of her characters, specifically the male main characters. And I just love the way she write books. I really do. You can tell that she puts a lot of time and effort in her craft. She not just pumping out nonsense every couple weeks for us. She really just not. She's taking her time and she's giving us her best foot forward, and I love that. Okay, and next we have the young adult thriller horror queen in my book, and that's gonna be Tiffany D Jackson. Now y'all know, if you have been following this channel for some time, I have been slowly backing into the bushes on young adult books. However, when it comes to Tiffany D Jackson, I'ma read it. I'm going to read it, okay? Because her young adult books, they are absolutely young adult, don't get me wrong, but they just be good books. You know, you don't feel like you reading something that's for somebody that's 14. You know, you still be in it. You still be enthralled, you know? Let's go down the list of the ones that I have read, which I think are pretty much all of them. The only book of hers that I have not read at this point, there's 2 of them. I didn't read her book yet about Storm, and I also didn't read Let Me Hear a Rhyme. So the ones I've read have been Grown, The Weight of Blood, Allegedly, Monday's Not Coming, and White Smoke. She is really in a lane by herself. Like, you just gotta let her just do her thing. She has a middle grade book that is coming out this year, which I kind of draw the line at middle grade. I'm not gonna hold you, so I probably won't read that, but I probably will purchase it for a child. But she does have a young adult book that is coming out even later this year. I believe it's in the fall, and that I will be picking up, and I'm happy because, like, give me a Tiffany D Jackson I could read this year. I'm excited about that. I just love how a lot of her books are based on something that really happened. She'll take a news article, like a news story that really happened somewhere, and then turn it into a story. I mean, obviously that's been done before, but I just love the way she do it. I like how she do it. And I got to meet her last year at Comic-Con, and I even got to have like a little conversation with her, and she's just very nice. She was just lovely. She was showing me pictures of her daughter on her phone, because I think at that point she hadn't really shown her like photos of her daughter on social media, so it was nice to kind of like have that moment with her, and we were just talking about, you know, how did she end up doing the getting to write the Storm book for Marvel. So you know, it was just nice. I'll pop a picture somewhere. Okay, and next we have another horror queen. Except this is for adults, honey. This is for adults. And it has to be my girl Tananarive Due, who never misses. This woman don't never miss. Like ever. Okay? I have read The Good House, The Between, The Reformatory, and My Soul to Keep. That's a lot of does. And I wonder if that's intentional. The this, the that. Like, I do wonder if that is intentional. I just love her book so much. I just, and they always be long as hell too. Like, if you read a Tananarive Due, you won't be in that book for like a few days. You're going nowhere fast, just so you know. Okay, which is a good thing, because, you know, so far my favorite of Tananarive Due has been, I want to say, My Soul to Keep. I'm still rocking with that one, because that was a whole nother world, and it blew me away. It really did. And I do need to continue with that series. I really want to this year. It's a lot of books on my plate right now. But one thing I will say about the women on this list is that whenever I'm feeling a slump possibly trying to creep up and like put me in a headlock, I know that I could just stop reading everything that is making me unsure and pick up one of their books, and I'm Gucci. I'm always gonna be good when I pick up one of their books. You know, when you pick up a book by an author that you've already read and loved, how you get like this warm and fuzzy feeling, because it's like, oh, I'm home, you know? It really just feels like I'm home, I'm safe, I'm comfortable. I know you're not going to let me down. Yeah, that's the feeling right there. So now let's talk about a few indie authors that I absolutely love. And one of them has definitely has to be Nina. And my first book by Nina was Lemon Pepper. And that title just really caught my attention. I was like, lemon pepper, what? I would actually like some lemon pepper wings right now. What is this book about? Why is that the title? And I just went into it completely blind at that point. Because I was just like, I want to know what is lemon pepper, you know? And it worked because I read it. I absolutely loved it. I wasn't expecting heartwarming moments. And I think that Nina does a great job at creating these little pockets of heartwarming moments within urban fiction, which is something that you don't typically see a lot because it's like bang, 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 shoot 'em up, you know, all these things going on, right? But yes, there are some shoot 'em ups. But in the middle of that, it's gonna be these little pockets that warm your heart, like, oh, that was really sweet. That was nice, you know? She's very funny as an author. There's so many moments where I'm just like reading, I'm just like just smiling and stuff. I love that. She also has her very, very popular series, which is the On Us series, which I have read books 1 to 3. I've also read Front Street Porter, which is the first book you should read if you're interested in getting into the On Us series. Don't forget that part. I've also read Clearwater, which is technically a book 4 to the On Us series following another character. And then I've also read, which is an unofficial book 5, which is called Reckless Love, which is following another one of the characters that is in the On Us series. And I just love this whole ecosystem of the On Us characters that are starting to kind of branch out, and we're getting their own stories. I love what Nina is doing. I think these stories are written very well. Even though it's a series, she is still continuing to progress this story. Sometimes when it's a long series, you start to feel like, where are we going? What are we doing? Right? This is a money grab. I don't feel like Nina does that at all. She is going to give us our money's worth, you know. She's definitely going to do that. It's not going to just be the same regurgitated thoughts, monologues, and what have you of the characters that we've been hearing in the previous books. Because some people be doing that. I'm not going to say no names. At least not in this video. But I love that she is giving us something new, giving us new characters, and I cannot wait to see what she comes out with next. And another author that has definitely creeped up to my favorites list is going to be Antoinette Charelle. I discovered her around the same time that I discovered Nina, and she has a fairly similar thing going on. She has a series, and then she has a breakout novel from that series. I actually discovered Antoinette Charelle when I first read Hall of Dreams during Halloween time. This is a paranormal novella that she came out with. And I was reading that and I was like, oh, this was good. Okay, this was good. Like hood, paranormal stuff. I like what I'm reading here. And that made me want, just getting that little taste test from her, it made me want to pick up some others, like what else she got going on. And that's when I came across the Art of Hood Love. Now, I had seen the series around, but I didn't know if the series was finished. I didn't know what was the state of it. Sometimes when I see a series and I don't see that it's finished, I'm gonna go in the other direction, because I don't like the to be continues at all. By the time I got my hands on the Art of Hood Love series, it was pretty much complete. The books 1, 2, and 3 were already out, and I was like, okay, now I can get with this. I can get with this. And I literally barreled through 1 to 3 within like one right after the other, and that's what I like. Okay, I cannot be waiting no a whole year for the next book, because who are these people? Who are these people? You know, I have no idea. You can't just continue the story with me like that. My memory is not what it used to be. I done told y'all. Okay, so the Art of Hood Love books 1 to 3, I read that. Hall of Dreams, read that. And then she came out with Lessons from a Hidden Treasure, which follows 2 characters that are inside of the Art of Hood Love series, and it also progresses the story of some of the characters that are in the Art of Hood Love, right? I love this series. I love the Lessons from a Hidden Treasure. I love that one a lot. I really enjoyed that. But the Art of Hood Love series is just so good. My video from 2 years ago, the top series I read in that year, this was definitely on it, because Antoinette is another author that she's funny. She's funny. She has great characters. For me, she's always gonna be an auto buy, and that is what I feel about all of the authors on this list. Whatever they coming out with, I'm going to get, add to cart, buy now, all of the above. You know, especially the ones where I'm up to date on their catalogs, because I'm already like, okay, what's next? You know, what's next? And another author that I absolutely could not make this list without including is going to be Tracy Brown. Tracy Brown, you know, rest in peace to her. I was absolutely devastated when she passed away, because I knew that we were going to be missing a literary treasure. I knew. I have been reading Tracy Brown. I've been reading Tracy Brown for years now. Let's go down the list. Okay, so I read Brooklyn, Hold You Down, Snapped, Twisted, Black, White Lines, Dime Piece, and Criminal Minded. My first Tracy Brown book that will forever be close to my heart is White Lines. I loved that book so much when it came out back in the day. I remember, I think that was probably one of the longest urban fiction books I had read at that point. That book was about 500 pages, I remember, at the time. I loved that book so much, and it blew me away so much that I had my boyfriend, who's my husband now, my boyfriend at the time, I had him read it. And he wasn't like he would read, like if I push a book in his hand, even he read it and he was like, yo, this shit is fire. Like, that's how you know. When the non-readers read a book and they say it's fire, that's how you know. It's not just you. I gave it to my mother to read. She loved it. Like, everyone I pushed that book in the hands of, they loved it. That's how you know, okay? That book was just like, whoa, okay, like she's not coming to play. That was the first time I had came across her, and I continued to follow her literary journey. Okay, I wanted to know what else she was writing, what was going on. And you know, she's from New York. I was looking up, you know, the books that I had actually read of hers. I did find a fairly decent amount of books that I had not read of hers that I definitely would like to get to. Forgive me, but I am going to read them slowly, because I don't want to be in a position to where I have no Tracy Brown book to read. That's just how I feel. That is how I felt regarding Bernice L. Mcfadden. And it's just something about when I find an author that I absolutely love and I don't have an answer on when I'm gonna get something new from them, I need to leave just one off to the side so that I know if I get in a bind, I could always grab it. These women are authors that are near and dear to me. I love them so much. I love their work. I hope that they all continue to write. This is a month to celebrate women, and I definitely cannot start the month off doing anything else. So I really hope that y'all have enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe for more bookish content like this, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.